Hello, my audience. It is I, the greatest bra moment, bringing you something different today, as I always do. I thought, you know what? I found this old book of bedtime stories in my closet. You might as well read them, right? But without further ado, let's begin. Having trouble sleeping? Well, you've come to the right place. Today I will be reading you the story of The Beauty and the Beast. There once was a rich man who had 6 children, 3 daughters and 3 sons. After a lifetime of good luck, the man suddenly fell upon hard times. His house burned down, his ship sank at sea, and his business partner ran off with all his money. He and his children were forced to move into a small cottage in the country where they lived on food that they raised themselves. His 2 oldest daughters were unhappy with this change, but the youngest, named Beauty, tried to make their new life as comfortable as possible. One day, the man heard that one of his ships had sailed safely into harbor. He decided to go to the port and see this for himself, even though it was a long ride. His children asked their father to bring back expensive presents for them, but Beauty only asked for her father's safe return. "Isn't there anything I can bring you, Beauty?" asked her father. If you see one, I would like to have a rose," she said, for Beauty missed the beautiful gardens of their own home. Beauty's father reached the port safely, only to find that his ship had been robbed and he was now poorer than before. Making his way back home through a thick forest, the unlucky man was lost in a terrible snowstorm. Suddenly, up ahead, he saw a row of flowing trees and at the same time felt warm air on his face. The father had stumbled across an enchanted castle. He explored the gardens where no snow had fallen, then went inside even though no one would answer the door. He found a cheerful little room with tables of fresh food waiting for him. He ate hungrily, then fell asleep in front of the fire. The next morning there was still no sign of anyone, so the man got ready to leave. On his way through the gardens, he picked a rose for Beauty. Suddenly, an awful beast appeared as if by magic. "Is this how you thank me? I feed and shelter you, and then you steal from me?" said the beast. The man begged for his life, explaining that the rose was for one of his daughters. The beast said he would not kill the man, but would accept one of his daughters instead. He promised to treat her kindly as if she would come to live with him. The man returned home and told his 6 children what had happened. All 6 agreed that since Beauty's rose had started the trouble, she must be the one to go. The very next day, she rode away bravely with her father. Again, they found no one in the enchanted castle, and again supper was set on the table. But this time the beast appeared as they finished eating. Beauty was frightened by the beast's terrible face, but he spoke to her gently, asking if she would stay with him to save her father's life. Beauty told the beast she would stay, so her father left her there, although it broke his heart, and she made the beast castle her home. Beauty had her own big room with mirrors for walls and a clock that woke her by calling out her name. She spent her days alone, exploring the wonders of the enchanted castle. Every night she sat her down for dinner with the beast. He was quite fierce looking, but his voice was quiet and gentle, and he always spoke kindly to Beauty. Soon she was no longer afraid of him and found herself growing more and more fond of him. In fact, Beauty came to look forward to their quiet evenings together. After dinner, they would walk through the beautiful gardens and talk of many things. No matter what they spoke of, the beast would ask Beauty the same question every night. "Am I very ugly?" he asked her. "Yes, you are," she would always answer, "but I like you anyway." "Then will you marry me, Beauty?" he would ask. "Oh, please do not ask me this question," she would say to the beast. Beauty was happy in the magical castle. She had grown very fond of the beast, but she missed her own home, her brothers and sisters, and her loving father. One night in the garden, she had asked the beast to let her go home for a visit. He made her promise to come back within 2 months and give her 2 magical trunks to fill with presents for her family. No matter how much she packed, the trunks were never full. Then the beast gave her a ring with a large jewel in it and told her it would take her home then bring her back. All she had to do was turn it on her finger, and she would be home the next day. The next morning, Beauty awoke to the sound of her father's voice. She was home in her own bed. Her family was very happy to see her. Her father's luck has finally returned, and his family was rich once more. As the weeks passed, Beauty missed the beast's castle, where she had been so happy. But most of all, she missed the beast. She spent hours thinking of their long talks at dinner time, and she fondly remembers her evening strolls through the beast's gardens. Beauty found that she was growing restless among her family, but she was afraid to tell him that she wanted to leave. She did not want to break her father's heart again. One night, she put on the magic ring and looked into the jewel. There she saw the beast, lying in his garden. He seemed to be dying. Beauty turned the ring on her finger and was magically returned to the enchanted garden. Suddenly she was by the beast. She was so weak that he could not speak. She lifted his head and opened his eyes to look at her one last time. "Oh, please do not die," cried Beauty. "I never knew it before, but I love you." At Beauty's words, there was a sudden flash of light, and then the beast leaped up. Beauty saw that her ugly friend had changed into a handsome prince. Beauty's love had freed the prince from a terrible spell. Since the two already loved each other, they were married and lived happily ever after in the enchanted castle. The end. So, that was a little something different. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing this podcast, and as all, I'll see you all later.